Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Doki the Dingus, aka Wagon Fruit, and welcome back to Doki the Uncut. This time we have the 88 Goals Week 1 Team Builder. I haven't done a video on 88 goals yet because it's the first week. So, that also means that I haven't done my own draft breakdown. So, just gonna quickly go over that for you, and we're gonna look at this wonderful build that I've made for Serp, my Week 1 opponent. Our team over on the right is Spectrier, Meowscarada, Terra Ursaluna, Thunderous, Corviknight, Diancie, Vaporeon, Tauros, Paldea, Blaze, Terra Tatsugiri, Muck, and Hatchrim. It's very Spectrier and Ursaluna centered team. You're going to be seeing those guys very often. Those guys are going to be basically coming every game for the season. We'll see if that changes, but I haven't looked ahead yet, but I can basically guarantee you that those two are coming. I really like this team, as opposed to my team in DGBA, which is utter dog shit. I do actually think we're gonna get some good matchups with this team, which I'm very excited for. Up top we have Serp's team, which is Zamazenta Crowned, Terra Enamoris, Hydreigon, Azelf, Rillaboom, Clodsire, Dondozo, Mismagius, Bellibolt, and Terra Colossal. I do think that this matchup is relatively even. I'm very scared of a few things, but he should be very scared of a few things of mine. It's like about as even as you can get, kind of. I do think he has a bit of positioning that he can pretty easily do that's a little bit better than me, but we'll see if the stuff that I brought counterbalances that minor advantage that he might have. So, let's get on to the build. But before we do, I just wanted to remind you, please subscribe and like, but please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I make some pretty heat builds, and sometimes I even win with them. So, moving on to the first Pokemon that we have here. We've got our Spectrier, our top guy, our top dog, our top horse over here. We are running an air balloon set with Substitute, Taunt, Shadow Ball, Draining Kiss with these wacky EVs over here. Speedcraft, obviously. We've got enough bulk. I think, yeah, it's enough bulk to take a modest Hydra hit of any kind, which is very nice. If we get into a situation where we've procced a Roselli or something, or we have to proc a Roselli, then we can just eat a hit, assuming that we drain up to full before that happens, which is very likely. I do think that there's a very good chance that Hydra can run Roselli here because this Spectre, but also in addition, he probably has Flash Cannon on it for Diancie, assuming that Diancie would come. Spoiler, you can look at the team right now, Diancie's not coming. So that Roselli, if he brings it, will be getting procced by Spectre Draining Kiss. So we do want to have that bulk. The rest is run in special attack. The idea of this Spectre is it's going to be a great win con. It outspeeds everything on the team outside of Scarfers. So if everything's in range, we kind of have just Grimnade to easily snowball and go crazy. And a great way to do that is with our air balloon, we can do that on Clodsire. Clodsire is probably going to be the main switch in, assuming that Hydra isn't willing to switch in and maybe waste its Roselli too early, right? So Clodsire takes hits very well, but if we have an air balloon and we're behind a substitute, there is basically nothing you can do to stop us from just chipping it down and killing it and staying behind a sub while we do so, which is not good for his endgame. If we get that Grimnay boost and we are behind a sub versus the Clodsire, it is basically donezo, depending on what is healthy and what isn't. So this is a very nice endgame set that I'm excited to use. Hopefully it can pull through. I didn't actually do any mocks, so I'm not sure how well it works, but, you know, it seems pretty good. My dogs are barking the fuck out of the downstairs. Out of the kitchen, so if you hear that, I apologize. Can't really do much about it. Next, we got our nice Revenger over here. We got our Scarf Thunderous. I think Scarf Thunderous does very well in this matchup. It outspeeds all of the other Scarfers as well as Zamazenta, who can't run a Scarf. and he hits them super effectively, which is super cool. The only thing it doesn't outspeed is Scarf Azelf, but I'm not even sure Azelf is coming, to be honest. And if it does, it might run like Plot or something like that. I'm not sure. But, yeah, Scarf Thundurus is very clean at revenging. It basically forces in either Clodsire or maybe a Rillaboom. Maybe like an AV Rillaboom. Like, why would, I don't know. Maybe an AV Rillaboom. But either way, we can, if we get it right and we just click U-turn on that, we have very easy ways of breaking from there, which is super cool. It's a nice offensive pivot, and it's just really good at revenging everything on the opposing team. So I'm really enjoying the Thundurus matchup as well here. Next up, we got our Ursaluna. Not too sure on the EVs yet, but this is basically to just force out Claude. We want Claude to kind of be alive for the end game so we can get the sub up on it. It kind of enables my Spectre a lot. But we do need to force it out as well. We can't just get fucking bullied by it, right? We can't just have it sit on us for all eternity. So we do want to be clicking some headlong rushes versus this, which is pretty cool. It does get walled by the Dondozo because it's not like Guts Facade, but it should be good anyway. We're Terra Fire this matchup, and we got Headlong Rush, Terra Blast Fire. Maybe we should switch out the Fire Punch, but I'm pretty adamant that we're going to end up terraing on something, so I'm not really too worried about that. Avalanche and Crunch. We hit basically everything. We can Terra Fire up on Zama or Rilla, though I'm not going to be too keen on Terra Firing on Zama because I would rather just go to Corv and then pivot out and maybe go to Thundurus or Spectre depending on what range it's at, right? It also, Terra Fire is very nice because it resists Moonblast, so if we're in a pinch, we can force him to, I guess, make a decision between Moonblast and Earth Power. If he guesses wrong, he might just not do enough damage, then we'll just kill him with an Avalanche or some shit, which would be very nice. So yeah, Ursaluna puts in really good work against everything except for Dondozo, so we'll see how we abuse the Dondozo later, okay? We'll see. It may or may not be in the thumbnail, but we shall see. Next up, we got our basically big progress maker in the mid game. We have our Meowscarada. This thing is so hard for him to switch into, dude. It is incredible. You would think that he would be more okay than most teams because he has a Zamazenta Crown, but fun fact, even if he has a defense boost, if I get the Protean boost on low kick, it is still a 2-shot. So this thing is super insane. Zama does outspeed Meow, but it can't recover. So I'm not really, I mean, unless it's like rest, but that's like insane. And also I'm not really that scared of that because I don't really have a problem breaking this thing or chipping it down. And I can kind of pivot through Corv a lot versus it without that much risk, so I'm kind of okay with that. Hopefully we can keep the Corv alive, but yeah, like this thing hits everything so hard. Stab, Thunder Punch, I don't know if it kills an AM. It probably doesn't, but the combination of Thunder Punch and Flower Trick, assuming he's like you kind of always have to assume that Enamorus can run Terra Ground. So we have that little select option covered. If he wants to go Terra Ground or stay, we have Thunder Punch and Flower Trick for that. And we also have U-turn, which is just great for baiting out the Terra as well as hitting Azelf and Rillaboom really hard. So this thing is like a huge menace. My big progress maker, if I lose it early, kind of like that Roaring Moon in that last video, that would really suck and it's hard to make progress. But we won that last one, so who knows? Who knows, right? I can't really predict what's going to happen anymore. I thought that matchup last week when DGBA was horrible, but we ended up clutching out with Espathra. Who knows, right? Yeah, so we got that. We got our WinCon, Revenger, bit of bulk, Progress Maker. We got our Corviknight, which is another pivot. This guy is just meant to switch in and out, kind of. I'm not totally sure on light screen yet. I might put on body press instead, just for Zama. But at the end of the day, my goal with Zama is not to 1v1 it with Corv, because it could very easily Iron Defense up on me and then just win the 1v1 kind of, right? It's a little iffy, especially with a Rocky helmet. Like, he kind of has to get it right. But essentially, if he tries to go for that, I can just slow turn with my fat fuck ass, and I could just slow turn over to my Scarf Thundy or my Spectre, depending on range, and just get it at least low or get a kill that way. Zama is one of like the few things I'm kind of really nervous about in this matchup. It's just that top 3 is very good versus me. But if we can trade health on most things for health on Zama, like, that would kind of be good for me. I wouldn't really mind that. This thing is a huge threat. I'm honestly most scared of the high Trican, I'm not gonna lie, because we don't have Diancie this matchup. I decided that even though Diancie does temporarily do okay against Hydra, assuming it doesn't predict me with the flash cannon, I don't really think I can do it, because my removal is defog, right? I'm gonna be defogging away anything that Clodsire does, but I don't want to be clicking it, right? So if Diancie is coming in, it doesn't really want to set rocks, because if it sets rocks as Claude comes in, then it's just I'm just gonna have to defog anyway, and I can't do anything to Claude. I could click Baton Pass, but do I want an entire team slot for Baton Pass in this matchup? I personally was not really liking it. I also don't really need rocks for any of the roles that I'm going for here, like on Meow and on Thundy. So I decided that we were going to do something fun with our last slot, and it's a pretty sick set. I'm pretty happy for it. This is our Vaporeon this week. You wouldn't really expect like the big wild card to be Vaporeon, but this thing, if you look at his team, assuming the Claude goes unaware from my Spectre, which it definitely should, this Vaporeon actually really bullies this team around. With this Eevee spread, I am able to take a Claude EQ and a Dondozo max invested body press, and it will not break my sub, which is fantastic, because that means I can fake tears it and actually break it down and force them out. And nothing really other than Dondozo wants to take a Vaporeon hit. It's kind of funny. This thing is like low key a big threat. We have enough special attack investment to, I believe, two shots, like dude, I forget. I think it's two-shotting Hydra with Ice Beam, which is pretty crazy. It might not happen because he might run more bulk than that, but essentially it gives me a roll at least, which is very cool. That's Spadef investment. It actually gives me decent calcs versus Enamorous, which is kind of crazy. Like, I don't actually take too much, so I'm actually going to lead with this Vaporeon. I don't really want it switching into hits, because I kind of want it to put in some work by itself. I don't really want it coming in and out, like not being able to click sub. I really want to be able to click sub here. If I can do that, then that would be lovely. So I want to lead with it and see what happens. If he leads literally anything other than Rilla or I guess Zama, but I don't think he's going to lead Zama, because that's like kind of brain dead. Like, you're just giving up your Dauntless Shield immediately. Like, why would you do that? So I'm assuming that he's not going to lead it. So anything other than Rillaboom, I can definitely stay in, and I can basically click Ice Beam versus any of the offensive threats, and then if Dondozo comes in, I can click sub and do my work. One thing we have to be very careful of is if this Enamorous comes contrary, we really don't want to click fake tears into it. It's not the scariest thing in the world, because we have our Meow, which can kind of threaten it out at all times, but especially if this thing is Scarf, I guess. But then we have Corv, so I'm not too worried about it. But if it ends up being contrary, it does it might lead to bad situations, right? So once we reveal fake tiers, we kind of have to be a little bit reserved with it. But I don't think that's gonna be a problem, because once we get that first fake tiers off on like Dozo, we've already gotten work, and then we have a lot of leeway with what we can click versus Dozo, so we can kind of condition him to not go in Amorous before we click fake tiers a second time. So that's like this is a super sick set. I'm really excited to use this, which is insane because of Vaporeon. This thing's probably the most boring Pokemon on my team, on my whole draft, but this is a sick set, and I'm really excited for it to hopefully put in work. I do think 2 unaware Mons are coming, so I couldn't really bring Calm Mind, but sub fake tiers honestly works better. It's really sick. I two-shot like everything. This thing has what 110 special attack. This thing is not that passive if you don't run it passive. It's pretty insane. So I'm really excited for this build. I think it's pretty sick. It could very easily go wrong, but it's not like a dire matchup. I think I built it well. Like again, the Ursaluna EVs are like, I'm not sure what to do. Also, what, dude? Why does it give you special attack investment? Don't do that. Give me special defense. It always thinks that that you're running a special attack with Terra Blast, but that shit's annoying, because I clicked the suggested spread. That was gonna waste my EVs. But yeah, that's the team. I'm excited to use it. I will see you probably tomorrow in the battle. Not really sure what's going on with my uploads in the next like 4 days. I do have 2 battles to do. I'm gonna make a team builder for all of them, including this one. So let's see, 4 videos coming up for you guys to for you guys to be excited about. Hopefully we get more dubs on the channel. We're gonna try to keep talking to ourselves while we battle. Try to keep improving our consistency. Last game, I noticed that I didn't do that for a lot of turns, which is like, why am I even doing live comp if I'm not doing that? Like, there was a turn where I clicked Avalanche. I'm like, should I click Avalanche as I clicked it? Like, that's not helpful for me. I'm gonna try to improve on that, and hopefully you guys can enjoy the progression of what I do. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the previous 2 videos. If you did, the feedback I got on it was pretty cool, despite this channel being so absolutely minuscule. But I will see you in the next one. Peace.